Digital transformation is any shift when a firm decides to employ more digital technologies in order to do services or processes differently, or even to improve what they did before. The goal of digital transformation is to make things more efficient, more effective, and maybe even create new opportunities in order to create more value for the firm. There are a number of different factors that actually drive this decision to engage in digital transformation. Here I will name 3. First, there are emerging technologies, emerging digital technologies. As new technologies become available, firms are pushed to integrate these technologies in order to stay competitive and to stay innovative. Take, for example, Wolters Kluwer, originally a publishing company that specialized in academic publishing. They actually sold off their publishing business and transitioned to becoming a fully digital company, focusing on information services. Their website states that they have been on a transformational journey for the last 15 years. They are now completely, up to 80-90%, a digital business. There's a great podcast from the HBR IdeaCast with an interview from Nancy McKinstry, the CEO, that describes the beginning of this journey. Secondly, there's, for example, a new trend for some firms or branches to not have a physical location. This means it actually changes the meaning of the word workplace. This means the chance of meeting or these serendipitous meetings or points of interaction need to take place then online and need to be actually organized in addition to regular working hours. In hybrid work environments, the physical work environment is now a place to socialize and connect with colleagues. When employees really need to get work done, they stay at home. In other words, they don't need to be in a specific physical location to work at a company, which means that competitors have a wider reach for clients and employees. Third, the way we interact with firms is changing. Many organizations are now active on social media, which could be Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. They try to create a dialogue then actually with the general public and to promote new products or to engage in conversations. In fact, using social media has become a way of doing business. So taking a step back, in order to assess an organization's readiness to engage in digitalization, we need to consider their digital maturity. So before diving into the definition, let's first take a look at the following video. In this video from Deloitte, they talk about their journey to achieving digital maturity.
We know digital is transforming business. Everyone is becoming a digital organization, a technology company. But most companies are actually behind. Too many focus on the first part of the equation and not the second. The digital instead of the organization. The technology instead of the company. Technology might be hard, but culture, people, transformation, that's even harder. If you don't align your company with the ever-evolving technological expectations of customers, employees, and partners, talent will leave, initiatives will sputter, and the competition will move farther ahead. Creating an organization that can grow and adapt to new technologies, a company that can move toward digital maturity, is the key. And while digital strategy is unique to each company, digitally maturing organizations share some common traits. They communicate a clear, coherent digital strategy that integrates with the overall company strategy. They look beyond the near term to consider what they want in 5 years, 10 years, and beyond. They successfully scale from small experiments. They embrace cross-functional teams. They know the importance of a culture that is nimble and agile, bold and exploratory, open to risk, less hierarchical, more collaborative, and less siloed. Most of all, they know that talent, more than technology, will carry the organization into the future. So they invest in immersive development, create a culture of continuous learning, and place a priority on retaining the leaders who make a difference. And we can't necessarily predict what digital developments are coming, but we can make sure we're ready for whatever happens next.
As we saw described in the video, digital maturity is an assessment of how organizations systematically prepare to adapt consistently to ongoing digital change. This can be assessed on 4 criteria. First, an organization that is digitally mature means that they have actually talked about and articulated a strategy around digitalization or how they're going to incorporate digital technologies. Often what happens is that a firm might have a very clear strategy in terms of sales or marketing or financial strategy, in terms of maybe even how they want to connect with society. But what they don't have is a digital component for that strategy. In this case, they may try to retrofit or change something at the end as an afterthought. But here, firms that are really digital mature have digitalization in the front of their minds from the very beginning while developing the strategy. Second, firms need to have a long-term focus. They need to make changes now based on what they anticipate could be relevant 10, 15, or 20 years from now. They also need to develop based on the assumption that things can and will change. Anticipating innovation makes it more likely that firms will successfully adopt new technologies as they emerge. Third, there needs to be an orientation or a culture focused on experimentation and exploration. This means avoiding being static, not about doing what it is that has always worked for us, but actually consistently looking for new ways to do things. And when we find these new ways of doing things, actually experimenting with the new methods, collecting the results, and using that information to inform the next steps. Finally, the fourth part is about hiring the people. Hiring the right people and training them and keeping them is what helps organizations to stay digitally mature. It provides opportunities for continuous learning and development. So, for example, some companies provide personal and professional development funds for their employees to use at their discretion. Other companies provide a wide range of trainings to promote training and development internally. This is a bottom-up approach that ensures that organizations have a competitive edge both in their strategies, but also in their social capital, meaning the people and their skills working at the organization.